Right, hello, welcome back to Buckle Up. My name is Rob Wilson and I am currently driving the Citroen C3 You! Exclamation mark. Okay, so the Citroen C3 in U specification, that is the basic car. So it has very little in terms of features on it. But here at Buckle Up, we do like a small, not cheap, let's use inexpensive, but well thought out car. And I think that that's what this is. We're here on a very rainy day in Yorkshire. I've got a quick drive, first drive of this car, and I've actually been really looking forward to it because it's just I know that it's just going to be so honest and simple. Basically, this specification was developed because the C1, Citroen's smallest car, went off sale. So the C3 then became the cheapest entry point into the Citroen range. So they made a really, really basic version called the U and then lowered the price so that it would be more affordable to more people. And I think they've done an excellent job of that, to be honest, because this car amazingly starts at less than £14,000, which in today's world is pretty good going. Pretty good going indeed. You were talking about comparing it with cars like the MG3, the Dacia Sandero, maybe the Kia Picanto and Hyundai i10, but they're a little bit more expensive. And recently I've driven all of those cars, very recently. So I'm in pretty good standing to compare it with all of those rivals. The first thing I will say is that the interior is way more interesting than all of those cars. You've got those weird, quirky Citroen bits that just make it more of an enjoyable experience. So, for example, the door pulls are made of this sort of weird fabric material, and they look like a old-fashioned suitcase carrier handle. You've got weird air vents with odd shapes in them. Your steering wheel, while mainly round, it's got there's a lot of squircles going on, rounded off squares, so it is quite amusing in that French way that they managed to just put a bit of character into these cars. Plastics, yeah, it's all hard, cheap plastics, but I do not care one little bit about that when the car costs as little as it does. And you've got your basic aircon controls. You do actually have air conditioning, and you've got a little screen in the middle, but it's nowhere near the size of the screen that you're going to be getting in some of its rivals. I know the MG3 has a much bigger screen, for example, but generally I like this car more because I like how it looks more. I think it looks fun. Let me talk you through some of the specs of this particular version of the C3. So it's got a 1.2 litre engine, it's a 3-cylinder, so it's not particularly fast. I mean, we're coming out of a village, so I can drop it down. And it's got a bit of go, but not really. It doesn't have a turbo, so it's a bit old-fashioned in that regard. But round this roundabout, there we go. Lovely, lovely understeer. Well, it's nice driving a car like this every now and again because it just reminds you of what classic motoring is all about, really. You can drive this car basically flat out everywhere and you're not going to be breaking the speed limit. I mean, we've got a top speed of 105 miles an hour. It does 0 to 60 in 12.5 seconds. We've only got 83 brake horsepower and 118 newton meters of torque. But I don't care because it's just so fun to drive around in. It puts a smile on your face. even on a horrible rainy day like this. And then I guess I should talk about economy as well, because that's going to be important to someone who buys this car. So it'll do around 50 miles to the gallon. Citroen themselves claim 51.3, but if you're driving around town, you're probably not going to get that much. It's going to be more for people who are on motorways. And I think that this would be okay on a motorway if it had a 6th gear, but it doesn't. It's only a 5-speed. So maybe if you're doing a lot of motorway journeys, this isn't the car for you. It's definitely more set up as a super mini. And actually, going back to the fact that I was saying that, you know, the brake horsepower and the torque is not very much, it isn't. Oh well. But this car only weighs 980 kilograms, is less than a ton. So it doesn't have a lot of weight to lug around. You can still spec it with more stuff. It's got like your lane keep assist and your cruise control and stuff like that. It's not like it's completely void of anything that you would want. It just doesn't have, you know, the latest things. Like you couldn't do your Apple CarPlay, for example. And that is a bit of a shame, because I probably would want that. But overall, I think it's just a really nicely designed, it feels reasonably well put together. It's not the most engaging car to drive, but that isn't what it's setting out to do. It's point A to point B motoring cheaply. And I respect cars that know the brief. This car knows the brief. The brief was be a cheap car and not be terrible. And it does both of those things masterfully. These seats are actually pretty comfortable as well. Citroen are known for having their odd seats that are unlike anyone else's, and the suspension is very softly sprung. This is going to be a comfortable car, and it's actually reasonably well refined given the price point. I'm happily surprised by pretty much everything I'm experiencing right now. It's just a great pucker little car. It's a lovely, lovely, sweet car is what this car is. It's a lovely, lovely, sweet car. I'm just gonna test the maneuverability because I'm gonna do a slight U-turn in this junction. And then we can test the acceleration. Whoa! Oh, we nearly got wheel spin. We nearly got wheel spin. The red line is 5,500, but it does seem to push way past that. I just took it up to 6.2, but that's 60 miles an hour. So it's not ridiculously slow. I would say it's going up to 60 in that amount of time, but it's not going to win any land speed records. Nor should it trying to be. Yeah, that suspension is soft. What a great little car. Well, anyway, that's probably enough chattering on from me, so thank you very much for watching. If you've enjoyed the video, make sure to please give it a like. Comment down below if you've got something to say. Let me know your thoughts on the Citroen C3. Do you like it as much as I do? But most importantly, please do subscribe to the Buckle Up YouTube channel and turn notifications on so you never miss an upload. And if you want to support the channel, you can do so by becoming a channel member, or you can buy some merch, which I'm sporting today, so check that out. But thank you again, and I shall see you next time. Bye.